She said, "If you can't handle me traveling with my ex for work trips, then maybe we're not compatible." I smiled. Fair enough. The next week, I accepted the promotion. In Dubai, I'd been refusing for her. My name's Marcus, I'm 29, and I work in international finance. 3 weeks ago, I thought I had my life figured out. Great girlfriend, solid career trajectory in New York, plans for the future. Today, I'm writing this from a hotel suite in Dubai, single, and honestly, I've never felt more at peace. Let me rewind to where this all started falling apart. I'd been with Emma for 2 years. We met at a mutual friend's rooftop party in Brooklyn, and the connection was instant. She worked in marketing for a tech startup. Ambitious, funny, beautiful, the whole package. Or so I thought. About 6 months ago, she got promoted to senior account manager. Great news, right? Except her new role meant traveling frequently with her team, including her ex-boyfriend, Tyler. They dated for 3 years before me, broke up about 8 months before we got together, and somehow, despite a city of 8 million people, ended up working at the same company. She always said it was ancient history and completely professional. I trusted her. I'm not the jealous type, and I genuinely believed people could be mature about these things. The first few trips were fine. She'd text me goodnight from whatever hotel she was in, we'd FaceTime, it was normal. But then the trips got longer. 4 days became a week. 1 week became 10 days. And the communication started getting sparse. It came to a head 3 weeks ago on a Tuesday night. She'd just gotten back from a conference in Austin. 5 days, Tyler was there too, and we were having dinner at our favorite Italian place in the West Village. I'd been trying to tell her about the Dubai offer all week, but she kept putting me off, saying she was exhausted from travel. "So listen," I started, twirling my pasta. "I need to talk to you about something important. The Dubai position—" She cut me off immediately. "Marcus, I already told you, I can't move. My career is finally taking off here. I know, which is why I've been turning it down for 4 months. But Emma, it's a 40% salary bump, vice president title, and honestly, the experience—" "And honestly," she interrupted again, her voice sharp, "I need a partner who supports my ambitions too. Not everything is about money." I put my fork down. "That's not fair. I've been supporting your career this entire time. I'm just asking if we can have a conversation about me giving up everything I've worked for so you can chase a bigger paycheck in the desert?" She laughed, but it wasn't friendly. "Very feminist of you." I felt my jaw tighten. "Emma, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm asking if we can explore options. Maybe you could transfer, or we could do long distance for a while, or you could just stay here like you promised when we started getting serious." "I never promised that. I said I'd think carefully before making any major moves, which is exactly what I'm doing." She took a long sip of her wine, and I could see her working up to something. "You know what, Marcus? Since we're having this conversation, I need to tell you something too. I have another trip coming up next month, 2 weeks in Seattle. It's a huge client pitch, and yes, Tyler's going to be there. And before you say anything—" I wasn't going to say anything. "Good. Because I need you to understand something." She leaned forward, her voice dropping to that tone she used when she was about to deliver what she thought was a winning argument. "If you can't handle me traveling with my ex for work trips, then maybe we're not compatible. This is my career. These trips are non-negotiable, and I need a partner who's secure enough to trust me." The restaurant noise faded out for a second. I just looked at her, really looked at her, and something clicked. Not anger, not hurt, just clarity. She'd just told me her ex-boyfriend was more important than any compromise in our relationship. She'd weaponized feminism and trust to shut down a legitimate career conversation. And she'd done it all while making me feel like I was the unreasonable one. I smiled. Not a fake smile, a real one. "Fair enough." She blinked, clearly expecting a fight. "Fair enough? That's it?" "Yeah." I picked up my fork again. "You're right. If we're not compatible, we're not compatible. Thanks for being honest. The rest of dinner was awkward as hell. She kept trying to backtrack, saying she didn't mean it like that, but I just nodded and kept eating. I paid the bill, walked her home, kissed her cheek, and went back to my apartment. The next morning, I called my boss at 7 a.m. Richard? It's Marcus. About the Dubai position. I'm in. When do you need me there? He actually laughed. I need you to be sure about this. You've turned it down 3 times. I'm sure. Let's make it happen. All right then. Welcome to the VP Club. We'll need you out there in 2 weeks for the transition. I spent the next week in a blur of logistics. Work visa, apartment search, organizing movers, notifying my landlord. Emma noticed I was busy, but assumed it was just normal work stress. I didn't correct her. We still had dinner a few times, still texted, but I'd mentally checked out. I wasn't angry, I was just done. 10 days after our Italian dinner conversation, she came over to my apartment. I was packing when she walked in. What's all this? She looked around at the boxes, the suitcases. I'm moving. Moving? Where? Dubai. I accepted the VP position. I leave in 4 days. Her face went through about 5 different expressions in 3 seconds. You what? Marcus, we need to talk about this. We did talk about it. You said if I couldn't handle your career choices, we weren't compatible. So I made my own career choice. That's not... I didn't mean you should just leave. I taped up another box. Emma, you've been pretty clear about your priorities. Tyler, travel, your career trajectory, all non-negotiable. That's fine. But my career is non-negotiable too. So what? You're just breaking up with me? Just like that? You broke up with us when you told me your ex-boyfriend was more important than finding middle ground in our relationship. I never said that. You did, actually. You said the trips with him were non-negotiable. You said if I couldn't handle it, we weren't compatible. Well, I can't handle it. And apparently we're not compatible. She started crying then, which I'll admit made me feel like shit for about 30 seconds. But then she said something that crystallized everything. Marcus, please. I love you. I need you. We can figure this out. Did you sleep with him? Silence. Long, horrible silence. It was one time, in Austin. We were drunk, and it didn't mean anything, and I felt terrible about it, and... I held up my hand. Stop. Just stop. Marcus, get out. Please, let me explain. Emma, get out of my apartment. She left, sobbing. I went back to packing. Update 1. The next 3 days were chaos. Emma called me 47 times. I know because I counted. I didn't answer. She texted me essays about how sorry she was, how it was a mistake, how she'd quit her job, how she'd moved to Dubai with me. I didn't respond. My friends thought I was being cold. My sister said I should at least hear her out. But here's the thing. I'd been ignoring my gut for months. All those late-night texts that didn't come through, all those times she'd snap at me for asking about her trips, all those moments she'd make me feel crazy for having completely normal concerns. I wasn't being cold. I was finally being smart. She found out my flight details somehow, probably from my Instagram story that I stupidly didn't hide well enough. She called me the morning of my flight. Marcus, please. I'm at JFK. I know you're flying out today. Just talk to me for 5 minutes, please. I was already at the airport, sitting in the Emirates lounge, drinking a whiskey that cost more than our Italian dinner. Emma, there's nothing to talk about. There's everything to talk about. I love you. I made a mistake, and I want to fix this. You made a choice. You chose him over me, over us, over any possibility of compromise. And you know what? I'm grateful. Because now, I get to make my choice. What does that mean? I took another sip of whiskey, looking out at the planes on the tarmac. It means I'm boarding business class to start my new life. And you're not part of it. Take care of yourself, Emma. I hung up, blocked her number, blocked her on everything, actually. Then I took a picture of my boarding pass and the view from the lounge. You could see my plane through the window, that beautiful Emirates A380, and I posted it to my Instagram story with the caption, "New Chapter, VP Life in Dubai." Sometimes the best revenge is just living well. I didn't tag her, didn't mention her, but I knew she'd see it. And honestly, I didn't even care if she did. Update 2. I've been in Dubai for 2 weeks now. The job is incredible. Challenging, high stakes, exactly what I needed. My apartment overlooks the marina, I've got a company car, and I'm working with some of the smartest people in international finance. I should be exhausted, but I feel energized. Emma has tried reaching out through mutual friends. One of them, Sarah, called me yesterday. "Marcus, I know you don't want to hear this, but Emma's a wreck. She quit her job. She's barely leaving her apartment. Sarah, I appreciate you checking in, but I'm not responsible for Emma's choices anymore. She made a mistake. She made a choice. There's a difference. She chose to sleep with her ex, hide it from me, and then try to manipulate me into feeling guilty about my own career. That's not a mistake. That's character." Sarah was quiet for a moment. "You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called." "It's okay. I know you mean well. How are you doing?" We chatted for a bit about normal things, and it felt good to have a conversation that wasn't about Emma. I found out through the grapevine that Tyler and Emma aren't together, by the way. Turns out he has a long-term girlfriend who also works at their company. The Austin thing was just nothing. She blew up her 2-year relationship for a drunken hookup with a guy who didn't even want her. I should probably feel vindicated, but I mostly just feel sad for her. Not sad enough to reach out, but sad nonetheless. Final update. It's been 3 weeks total now. I've gone on a few dates here. Nothing serious, just coffee and conversation. Dubai has an interesting expat scene. Lots of professionals from all over the world. I'm not rushing into anything. But it's nice to remember that there are other people out there. My boss pulled me aside yesterday and told me I'm already exceeding expectations. There's talk of me leading the entire Middle East division within 18 months if I keep performing. That would have been impossible in New York, where I was stuck in a holding pattern, turning down opportunities because I thought I was building a life with someone. I think about Emma sometimes, usually late at night when the jet lag hits. But it's not longing. It's more like thinking about a book you used to like until you reread it and realized it wasn't as good as you remembered. She sent one final message through Instagram before I blocked her there too. It said, "I hope Dubai gives you everything you wanted. I hope it was worth it." The thing is, it already has. Not because the job is amazing, or because Dubai is incredible, or because I'm living some fantasy life. It's worth it because I finally chose myself. I stopped making myself smaller to accommodate someone who wouldn't even have a conversation about compromise. I stopped ignoring red flags because I was comfortable. I stopped letting someone make me feel crazy for having standards. Would I have preferred she didn't cheat? Obviously. Would I have preferred we could have had an honest conversation about our careers and found a solution together? Absolutely. But that's not what happened. What happened is she showed me exactly who she was, and I finally believed her. So yeah, Emma, it was worth it. Every single mile.